back, and I'm with Keith English from Keith English and Associates, our resident real estate expert. Keith, we've been talking a lot about the negotiations, momentum, things like that. I've got to ask you probably a personal question. I often see a preference of some people to have home opens. People like us go, that just attracts the neighbours in. And other people go, no, I won't buy appointment only, these viewing things. What's your take on this?
My take is, ultimately, I like to use a combination of both.
Right.
But I always say that selling a house isn't about what is good for the agent. It's about what's going to get you the result, but also the disruption to the owners is important to look at as well. So, and if you've got tenants in place, okay. So if you're selling a house with tenants, then I'll actually sit down with the tenant and work out what is going to work with them, because getting them on side is very important. So sometimes having 1 hour set aside once a week is the least disruptive. Other tenants will actually say, I prefer if you could just give me 24 hours notice, and then we'll organise a private viewing time.
Right, okay.
Because I don't want lots of people travelling through their house. So working out, because disrupting the relationship with the tenants can be very harmful to the sale process as well. I've only ever had to work with a disagreeing tenant once, and certainly that's an interesting process, but you work with it. But then we go back to the family home. If we're selling the family home, if someone's got a lifestyle which isn't very good for private viewings, then having the set home opens can be a good idea, and that way they can plan the kids, they can plan the dog, they can do all these things.
Sure.
If we're looking at the buyer's point of view, sometimes they can't make, in this day and age, there's no such thing as a 5-day-a-week anymore. Tell us about it.
I know. I was just thinking.
So sometimes buyers can't make it on the weekend.
Yeah.
So having private viewings is a necessity in those circumstances. Or the other thing which is quite popular is having like twilight viewings and on a Wednesday night or something like that.
Yeah.
So having home opens doesn't just mean on the weekends, you can do it midweek as well.
Yeah.
And they can work quite nice, especially if you've got something quite nice about the property, and you can stage it, and you can even have candles, and and you can go all out sometimes on Wednesday.
I've seen a few where they've got pools, and they've got the pool lights on, and the outdoor lights, and you just walk in and go, this is magical.
Yeah, I did one in Mount Lawley, and this one had been on the market for a very long time with other agents, and I just took it on, so I wanted to do something different. And so we set up candle lights, and we organised a company that does wine tasting.
Oh, yeah.
And so they come along and set up, and these are things that you can do that don't always cost a lot of money. Yeah. They set up, and so people could come and have responsible wine tasting at the home open, and so we had this really nice ambience, and we ended up selling that property fairly quickly. But setting up a system where a combination of home opens and private viewings. Often it's good to have a second viewing as a private viewing, because then they can actually walk through on their own and they're not disrupted, and that's the environment I try and set up for the buyer.
So is that so the buyer can actually envisage themselves living there, get a feel for what it's like if it was theirs? Yeah,
and start to walk around and envisage their furniture, so that's often a fun game that we play with the husbands about what furniture the wife would like to buy to put in the new house.
Yeah.
But it gives them a chance to be relaxed, and there's no one else there interrupting them. And sometimes you'll have multiple private viewings, one after the other, and I'll actually say that to the buyer. So listen, this is your time, you can come through. So I've had a number of people that are coming through for a second look, and the next people are coming in 45 minutes or something like that. So for the next 40 minutes, this is your time, you can just walk around at your own leisure. Okay.
Are you finding with home opens and private viewings that the internet and the amount of photographs and videos you can get on there is changing the mix of the types of viewings people are actually now asking for?
Yeah, it's. I mean, technology is evolving, as everything, and some of these walkthroughs and video walkthroughs that you can do, people have already experienced a lot of the house as well.
Yeah.
So when they come into the home open, they're looking for this bath, you know,
Yes.
that they've seen in the pictures, in the videos, and they want to just sit in it, you know, and or check out the view from the balcony, or you know, just they get excited about the anticipation of actually seeing something they've cottoned onto into the home open. What we are seeing, probably from a salesperson point of view, is not as many people call ahead anymore. They will just turn up to the home open. Whereas in the past, people would phone and say, "Oh, you know, I've seen it online. I've got a few questions to ask," and then you can talk to them, and you know they're coming to the home open.
Yes.
Whereas something I've noticed over the last couple of years, we're just getting people turning up because they've already experienced a lot online.
Are they just coming to personally experience it in reality?
Yeah, and get a feel of the dimensions and just get a feel of the energy of the house as well.
So when you speak to a seller, is your recommendation usually, I know it'll change, but using a combination of home opens and private viewings?
Yeah, that's the ideal situation.
Yeah.
But it also, I'm very conscious of, it is the owner's place of residence.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't suit them.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst I could make recommendations, I'm not going to say I can't sell your house unless I do this, because I think that's just a cop-out. But the sales process can often happen a bit easier. But if someone is only able to do home opens, then that's what we work with.
So someone selling their house today, what would you say to them? Would you say discuss that and develop that strategy before you go marching and have a look at the pros and cons of everything?
Yeah, if you don't establish those parameters at the start, then suddenly you could be getting, you know, the owner could be getting phone calls from the agent and say, I want to show someone through tomorrow, and unless you preset that arrangement, it can get a little bit annoying from the owners. So sit down about what your wants and what your requirements are, and so there's a full understanding between you and your real estate agent before you get to that stage. And that's about building that trust relationship.